How do you heal childhood trauma the fastest and most sustainable way? That's a question that came through in the comments to me. I'm going to share with you a technique which takes anywhere between 15 to 30, maximum an hour, depending on how intense the childhood trauma was for you. But once you do this, it will be gone for good. They will no longer bother you. It will no longer affect you. We're going to get to the root of the childhood trauma, pull it out, and you'll be free of it. How do I know that? Because I've used this technique on myself, and it worked for me, and it's worked for many others. In fact, I paid a spiritual teacher, oh God, how much did I pay? I paid hundreds of dollars. I paid hundreds of dollars to do this with me. I think I paid $600 for this technique. For 30 minutes of this man's time, maybe 45, I paid $600 to heal a childhood trauma. I'll share what that was with me, and it worked immediately. In fact, it had some strange consequences, which I'll share with you too. And this is what I'm going to teach you for free right here today. Okay, so my name's Mark Dharma, and this channel is the End of Suffering. This is where you learn to be free of anxiety, fear, overwhelm, all those nasty feelings that we don't really want to feel, anger, stress, how we be free of all of these things so we can experience peace, joy, love, and also success in life, whatever you want. Okay, the things I like to teach in this channel, all types of tools and techniques that work: meditation, energetic exercises, breathing exercises, plant medicines, and everything else in between, neuro-linguistic programming, hypnotherapy, all of these things that I have used for myself, things that I have experiences with, things that I've used with clients, I've used on myself, and I know work, I share with you. Now, excuse me, I'm not sure if you can hear it, but I've got a 2-week-old daughter. She's my third child. She's 2 weeks old and she's upstairs. She's a little bit upset, crying, but that won't affect what you're going to get out of this. Now, before I go into the technique and exactly what you need to do to be free of childhood trauma, fast, sustainable, gone forever, let me share how I found out about this technique. So I've got a friend, he's called Cameron, lives in the UK, really good friend of mine, and he called me up one day. I think he messaged me a few times. He's like, dude, you got to speak to this guy. He's called Arnold. His name will come to me at some point. I'll put it in the show notes below. He says, you got to speak to this guy. He says, he's a spiritual teacher, he's old, he's in Los Angeles, and I've been working with him for a few months, and I feel completely different. He said things like my anxiety, stresses, things I was concerned about, gone, and I just feel so free and happy and just amazing. I was like, great, yeah, put me in touch. He said, yeah, I've been working with him for a few months, call him up, he's a coach, pay for some sessions, get it done. I said, all right. So I called up the guy, asked him what type of things that he does. He says, well, the first thing to do in order to be free of things that are holding us back, negative thoughts, etc., feelings, is to first look at childhood trauma. What happened in your childhood? So he asked me, and I'm asking you at the same time, what was a traumatic experience for you in your childhood? And he said, whatever the first thing that came into your head, pick that. What's a traumatic experience for you in your childhood? Now for me, I had a pretty great childhood, to be honest. My mom and dad, fantastic parents. So, my mom, perfect mother, so sweet, kind, loving, generous. She was great. My dad, he was a great dad. He was a little hardcore. He was a West Indian father. If you guys with West Indian fathers know what I mean. Very hardcore, disciplinarian, tough guy. Could be a little harsh at times. The first thing that came to my head as soon as he saw it was a memory that I hadn't thought about in maybe 20 years or more. Okay, I had this experience with this coach when I was 35, and it might have been longer than 20 years that I actually thought about this. but it was a memory of when I was about 4 years old, that I was at home with my mum. I think I just came back from school or daycare or something with my mum. And my dad had got back from work before us, so he was already at home. So I came in, and then I went up, like my mum told me to go upstairs, go to the restroom or something, bathroom. So I went upstairs, and I heard my dad downstairs screaming and shouting at my mum. And he was shouting at her because when my mum left that morning, she forgot to lock the front door. And my dad was berating her, just shouting like, how could you forget, you stupid, just going on at my mum really loud. And my dad was a big scary guy, and my mum was just in tears, just breaking down. She was so upset, she was so distraught. My dad was berating her, and she was in tears. And I remember looking down the stairs, like I could see my dad shouting at her and how distraught my mum was. And after my dad walked out of the room, the living room, my mum was just crying there on the couch. So I went down, and I was trying to comfort my mum. I think I brought some toys that she knew, like a teddy bear, and I just hugged her and told her it was okay. And that was the moment that came up when Arnold asked me, what was a traumatic experience? Never thought it was traumatic, never thought about it, never crossed my mind, didn't ever come up until he asked me that question that I'm asking you right now. What was a traumatic experience for you in your childhood? Now, once you've got that, here's what you're gonna do. Go somewhere quiet where you won't be disturbed, bedroom, in your bed, nice and comfortable, lie down. You can sit down, lay down, just wherever you're comfortable. And here's what Arnold taught me, and here's what I did, and here's what you're going to do. Close your eyes and go back to that experience. And in that experience, you can see it in the screen in your mind, you can see all of it. In that experience, you send unconditional love to whoever was involved. You allow yourself to feel and express unconditional love. The sensation, the vibration, the energy of unconditional love to whoever was involved. So in my case, it was going back to that experience where my dad was shouting at my mum was crying, seeing it in my mind's eye, being there, and just I'll keep sending unconditional love, allow myself to feel unconditional love in that moment until all that's left in that moment is love. Now there's something else, another feeling that you can use which actually tends to speed up the process, and that is feeling love and appreciation. So for me, it was going back and just sending love and appreciation to my mum and my dad in that moment while my dad's screaming at my mum and my mum's crying, just being there and feeling unconditional love and appreciation for both of us until all that's left, the only sensation, only vibration left is complete love and appreciation. It like drowns out, or it doesn't really drown out. Here's what you gotta understand with this stuff. The vibration of unconditional love is such a high vibration, it's so powerful that it takes over any low vibration feelings such as anger, upset, fear. It eliminates it. It's like a light. A high vibration is like a light. When the room is dark, there's no lights off, as soon as you turn on the light, the darkness disappears. It's gone. It's filled with light. It's the same with unconditional love. That feeling of love. These high vibration states of love, appreciation, but especially unconditional love. Unconditional love, because unconditional love is our creator. That is God. How can I say it with such certainty? Because I've experienced this I've experienced it through meditation. I've experienced it through many ways. I've experienced it through plant medicines, meditation, many ways, and I'll share about that in future. But this unconditional love is the light. It's the light of the world, the light of the universe. Okay, you may have heard of Jesus Christ. He was the light. He brought in this unconditional love. He brought in this vibration of God itself. He tuned himself to unconditional love. So the feeling of unconditional love and appreciation in this moment clears all of it, turns on the light. So what happened to me is it took me about 40 minutes to do this. At first, you may find that you just can't feel anything. Maybe you're a little scared, maybe you're a little upset. And if this was a very, very traumatic experience for you, and that even just thinking about it causes massive anxiety, reach out to me. I'll put a link below in the section below, where you can read and the show notes. Reach out to me. Better to do a private one-on-one session if this is a very traumatic experience, because I'll be able to guide you through it. It can be difficult on your own. If it's only somewhat traumatic and it doesn't really over trigger you, then you can do it on your own. But if it's very traumatic, reach out to me, book a private session with me, and I can help you through it. So yeah, it took me about 40 minutes. At first I couldn't feel anything. I maybe felt negative emotions, and then you just got to stick with it. You just got to stick, feeling the appreciation, unconditional love, feeling it. Then you might feel like a 1 out of 10 of love, and then it might get to a 2. You just stick with it until it gets to a 10 out of 10. You know when it gets to a 10 out of 10 because you usually feel a release. Like an energetic release, like something shifted. It's obvious. When you get to a 10 out of 10, it's obvious. You know it's happened. You feel a shift. Shift. Something's different. And then you can just bask in this feeling of unconditional love in that past traumatic moment. Gone. So yeah, might take a while, might be fast. It may take 10 minutes, 5 minutes, less. It really depends on you and what happened and your situation. Took about 40 minutes for me. I felt a massive shift. I felt lighter. I felt happier. I felt great. I also felt a bit weird. Weird thing is, I had like food poisoning symptoms like for 2 days afterwards. I had diarrhea. I was throwing up a bit. Maybe I got food poisoning. Maybe I might have done. I remember having like a green shake that I left for like a day. It smelled a little bit weird. So it might have been that. Might have been, me letting go of it, my physical body just relaxing and those organs relaxing and physically removing all of that I've been holding on to, because that's real. The body keeps a score. There's actually a book called The Body Keeps a Score. I'll put a link to the book below. I'll remember the man's name who wrote it, but The Body Keeps a Score it's real. There's a lot of research done on how our physical bodies hold on to emotions and the traumas that happen to us. So that's it. That's the technique. And I can tell you, once it shifts, that is gone. You don't have to do any more work. Once you can feel 10 out of 10 unconditional love in that moment, it's gone. It's no longer going to affect you. It's not going to be an issue again. It's not going to come up. You're done with it. It's done. So my name is Mark Dharma, and this is the End of Suffering. If you would like a one-on-one session to remove any trauma, PTSD, anything, any trauma, book a one-on-one session with me below, the link's below, and subscribe, share this with your friends. I'll see you tomorrow. I do a video every single day, so I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.